Under Tang Hao's terrified and desperate gaze. Under Tang San's uneasy watch. In the bated breath of everyone watching the light screen. The purple gold thunder in Qin Feng's hand shot out. Boom. The thunder accurately hit the corner of the stone wall but did not cause large-scale destruction. That purple gold thunder light, like a sharp carving knife, cut a circular hole in the stone wall. A dark lead box was revealed before the world. The surface of that lead box was covered in dust, clearly hidden for many years. Qin Feng reached out and took the lead box from the hidden compartment. The lead box was not large, but it was heavy in his hand. There were no patterns or decorations on the lid, it was simple and unadorned. Qin Feng placed the lead box on the stone table in the center of the stone chamber. Before even opening the lid, several wisps of blue gold light overflowed from the gaps of the box. That light was gentle and full of vitality. The entire stone chamber was illuminated by this blue gold light. The dark and damp atmosphere was swept away, replaced by a warm, peaceful, and life-filled ambiance. Qin Feng could clearly feel that the majestic vitality emitted by the blue gold light shared the same root and origin as the blue silver emperor's origin he had just devoured. It should be this. Qin Feng murmured softly, a flash of realization in his eyes. Tilde 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 tilde. What is that? On Shrek Academy's square, everyone's eyes widened. Even across the light screen, they could still feel the strange power contained within that blue gold light. That light was almost identical to the light emitted by the devoured blue silver grass. Could it be a spirit bone? Yu Xiaogong's expression became solemn, having a bad premonition. A spirit bone. Dai Mubai and the others exclaimed simultaneously. Yu Xiaogong continued. When a 100,000-year spirit beast falls, it will definitely drop a spirit bone. What's inside that box is very likely the spirit bone left behind by the blue silver emperor. The group was even more shocked. A spirit bone is a supreme treasure that spirit masters dream of. And now, they were about to see a 100,000-year spirit bone. The blue silver emperor's spirit bone. Ning Rongrong murmured. In other words, that was originally a relic of San Ji's mother. Everyone's gaze turned to Tang San again. At this moment, Tang San looked as if his soul had been drained, standing blankly in place, his face as pale as paper. The blue silver power within him was surging frantically. A call from deep within his bloodline rose in his heart. It seemed like the calling of a kindred power, the mourning of the gift left by his mother. That's Mama's spirit bone. Tang San's voice was trembling. His mother had not only left a remnant soul but also a spirit bone. And these two most precious things were about to fall into the hands of that silver-haired youth who had taken human form. No, no. Tang San shook his head, tears welling up again. His voice grew smaller and smaller, finally turning into silent sobbing. Xiao Wu looked at Tang San like this, her heart aching as if pierced by a knife. She wanted to step forward to comfort him, but her steps were as heavy as if filled with lead. When that blue gold light appeared again, she had already sensed that what was hidden in the box was indeed the blue silver emperor's spirit bone. Xiao Wu's gaze turned toward the silver-haired youth in the light screen, and cold killing intent appeared in her eyes. Tang Hao had indiscriminately killed spirit beasts to obtain spirit bones. But, this matter had nothing to do with Tang San. She believed that Tang San shouldn't have to bear all this. And now, that youth was taking away the 100,000-year spirit bone that originally belonged to Tang San, making him suffer in unbearable pain. This was something she could not tolerate. Tilde 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 tilde. Under the watchful eyes of the multitude, Qin Feng carefully opened the lid of the lead box. In an instant, blue gold light poured out like a bursting flood, illuminating the entire stone chamber as if it were broad daylight. Within the light, majestic vitality was surging and billowing. In the center of the box, a pale blue spirit bone lay quietly. Judging by its shape, it was a right leg bone. Its whole body was a crystal clear pale blue, as if carved from pure sapphire. A soft blue gold halo radiated from the surface of the spirit bone. Qin Feng could clearly feel the majestic vitality contained within this spirit bone. He did not hesitate at all, directly picking up the spirit bone and pressing it against his right leg. The moment the spirit bone touched his skin, it immediately turned into a warm current, merging into the bone of his right leg. Then, Qin Feng activated the spirit power in his body, guiding the 5 colored thunder cores in his 5 organs to operate simultaneously, forming a 5 elements cycle to accelerate the fusion of the spirit bone. Chapter 27. Tang Hao arrives, murderous intent surging. Qin Feng had devoured the blue silver emperor's origin, and he already possessed the same source of power within his body. Fusing this spirit bone now was as natural as water flowing into a channel. Blue gold light erupted from Qin Feng's right leg, intertwining with the 5 colored thunder light rising from his 5 internal organs. Thunder of the 5 attributes, gold, wood, water, fire, and earth, formed a perfect energy loop, which not only avoided conflict with the spirit bone but actually promoted each other, accelerating the fusion. Qin Feng could feel the bones in his right leg undergoing a transformation. Under the integration of the blue silver emperor spirit bone, his original bones became even more resilient. At the same time, a majestic surge of life energy spread from his right leg to his entire body, nourishing every inch of his flesh and every single meridian. His body was undergoing visible changes. The status panel became more crystalline, his muscle lines became smoother, and his entire temperament became increasingly ethereal, as if he were merging into one with nature. Even more wondrously, under the nourishment of the blue-silver emperor's life force, the 5 embryonic thunder cores in his 5 internal organs actually began to solidify faster. Especially the wood thunder core in his liver, after absorbing power from the same source, it condensed directly from an embryonic state into a complete, verdant thunder core. Qin Feng was secretly delighted. He had originally only wanted to fuse the spirit bone to obtain the blue-silver emperor's powerful self-healing and flight abilities. He hadn't expected that the majestic life force contained within the blue-silver emperor spirit bone would actually accelerate the refinement of the thunder cores in his 5 internal organs. At this rate, it might not be long before he could finish refining all 5 thunder cores. By then, his physical body would truly reach the level of being forged by lightning, with every movement carrying the might of heavenly thunder. However, Qin Feng didn't let the joy go to his head. He knew very well that Tang Hao must be rushing over frantically right now. But, he was not afraid. The novice protection period still had 18 days left. During this time, he could use emotion points to exchange for powerful temporary skills. Tang Hao wouldn't be able to hurt him. He even felt a faint sense of anticipation. He really wanted to see what kind of expression that once all-powerful clear sky Duluo would have when, in front of the whole world, he couldn't even kill a 2-ring spirit grandmaster who had devoured his lover. Tilde 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 tilde. Arg. Among the mountains, Tang Hao let out a heart-wrenching roar. He watched helplessly as that silver-haired youth devoured Yin and fused with the 100,000-year right spirit bone that should have belonged to his son. Bastard, I'm going to kill you. I will definitely kill you. Tang Hao's eyes were bloodshot, and blood sprayed from his mouth. His internal organs felt as if they were being scorched by fire, accompanied by a piercing pain. But he ignored it completely, still pushing his speed to the limit as he turned into a blood-colored stream of light, charging frantically toward the stone chamber. No, Yin, I've failed you. I can't even protect your last remains. Tang Hao's heart was filled with regret and pain. He hated himself for being so weak back then that he couldn't protect Yin. He hated himself for being so dejected all these years. He hated himself for not keeping Yin and her remaining spirit bone by his side. He hated that silver-haired youth. He hated him for exposing his hypocrisy, for devouring Yin's remnant soul, and for snatching away Yin's spirit bone. Soon, almost there. Tang Hao stared fixedly at the mountains ahead. Give me another 15 minutes, just 15 minutes, and I'll be there. When the time comes, I will use the clear sky hammer to smash your limbs into a pulp. I'll torture you in the most cruel way possible. I'll make you wish you were dead. The violent emotional fluctuations and the uncontrolled burning of spirit power caused the old injuries in Tang Hao's body to worsen at an alarming rate. The hidden injuries left from the battle with Qian Zunji and the ailments accumulated from years of drowning his sorrows in wine erupted completely like a bursting dam. But Tang Hao still gritted his teeth and persevered. For Yin, for Tang San, he must arrive. He had to snatch back that 100,000-year blue-silver bone from that spirit beast's hands. Tilde 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 tilde. On the Shrek Academy Square, there was a dead silence. Everyone was so shocked by the scenes in the light screen that they were speechless. They had personally witnessed a 100,000-year spirit bone, and they had also witnessed the process of this spirit bone being fused. What shocked them even more was that the youth clearly knew Tang Hao was likely rushing over, yet he still fused the spirit bone with such calm and composure, having no intention of fleeing at all. Just what kind of strength did he have? Could it be that he really didn't fear the clear sky Duluo? At this moment, the person in the most pain was none other than Tang San. He stared blankly at the silver-haired youth in the light screen, who was radiating blue gold and 5-colored light. He watched as the spirit bone that should have belonged to him merged into his enemy's body. A heart-wrenching pain came from the depths of his soul. That was not only the pain of losing his mother, but also the humiliation and hatred of having a supreme treasure snatched away. Damn it. Not only did you devour my mother, but you also stole her remains. You have already found a path to your own death. If I don't avenge this, I, Tang San, swear I am not human. In Tang San's eyes, there was no longer the innocence and confusion of a youth, only cold murderous intent and resoluteness remained. Looking at this version of Tang San, a wave of sorrow welled up in Xiao Wu's heart. She knew that from this day on, that gentle elder brother was dead. The one who survived was an avenger consumed by hatred. And as for herself, where should she go? Should she continue to stay by Tang San's side and accompany him on this path of revenge? Or leave now and return to the Stardo Great Forest? Xiao Wu didn't know the answer. She only knew that her heart ached deeply, so very deeply. Tilde 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 tilde. In the stone chamber, Qin Feng slowly opened his eyes. The blue gold light and the 5-colored thunder light gradually receded, eventually merging completely into his body. At this moment, his temperament had undergone an earth-shaking change. His appearance was more perfect, thunder light faintly flowed in his eyes, and his entire being radiated an ethereal and natural, yet majestic and domineering aura. He lightly moved his right leg, feeling the majestic power contained within. Wildfires cannot burn it all, the spring breeze brings it back to life. This powerful recovery ability was almost equivalent to an immortal body. With the ability to fly through the air, his speed had increased significantly. What was even more rare was that the life force contained within the Blue Silver Emperor Spirit Bone had accelerated the refinement of the thunder cores in his 5 internal organs. Now that the wood thunder core was complete, the other 4 thunder cores had also solidified quite a bit. This harvest far exceeded expectations. It was time to leave. A flash of light erupted from Qin Feng's right leg, and he turned into a stream of light, rushing out of the waterfall. Meanwhile, at the clear sky sect. Boom. The spirit power within Tang Xiao's body suddenly erupted, and he smashed the stone table beside him with a single punch. Damned bastard. Not only did he devour Ah Yin's original blue-silver grass, but he also forcibly fused with the spirit bone Ah Yin left behind. Brother Hao, just where are you? Why haven't you arrived after all this time? Hurry and kill that bastard. Snatch back Ah Yin's spirit bone. Through the light screen, Tang Xiao had seen the entire process of Ah Yin being devoured and the spirit bone being fused. At this moment, he was filled with rage but had nowhere to vent it. He didn't know exactly where that valley was, otherwise, he would have set out long ago. If Tang Hao didn't show up soon, Ah Yin's spirit bone would be taken away. Just then. In the light screen, a blood-colored stream of light was tearing through the air at an incredible speed. Wherever the light passed, the clouds were torn apart and the gales howled. A violent, angry, and murderous aura enveloped the entire mountain range like something tangible. Damned bastard, don't you dare think of leaving. Give me back Ah Yin's spirit bone. Chapter 28, Facing Tang Hao. How dares he? At this moment, the image on the light screen abruptly split into 2 perspectives. On the left, the silver-haired youth stepped on the void, with faint traces of 5-colored thunder light swirling around him. He floated 100 meters above the waterfall, his long hair dancing in the wind, his posture calm and composed. On the right, a streak of blood-red light pierced through the clouds, descending with a sky-toppling killing intent. It was a middle-aged man with bristling hair and beard, his eyes red as blood. It was none other than the clear sky Duluo, Tang Hao. The 2 figures appeared simultaneously on the light screen, shocking the entire world. Tang Hao is here. That kid can actually float in midair. Only 2 10,000-year spirit rings, yet he can hover. How did he do it? Perhaps it's an ability granted by that 100,000-year blue-silver emperor right leg bone. Even if that's the case, so what? That is the clear sky Duluo. The ruthless man who once heavily injured the previous supreme pontiff, Qian Zunji. That spirit beast is likely to perish here. Across the Duluo continent, countless spirit masters were buzzing with discussion. In their eyes, no matter what fortuitous encounters the silver-haired youth had, the outcome was already decided when facing a powerhouse of the titled Duluo level. Spirit City. Bibi Dong stared at the confrontation on the light screen, her heart filled with complex emotions. Tang Hao, the powerhouse who was famous throughout the Duluo continent, was someone she was determined to eliminate. After vanishing for many years, he actually appeared at this moment. If Tang Hao kills that spirit beast, not only can he reclaim the blue-silver emperor spirit bone, but he can also obtain a 100,000-year thunderclap hellvine spirit bone. Bibi Dong murmured to herself, a sharp glint flashing in her eyes. How precious was a 100,000-year spirit bone. They were supposed to be hers for the taking, yet she was watching them fall into Tang Hao's hands. Moreover, Tang Hao already had 9 spirit rings and did not need another. If he truly killed that spirit beast that had transformed into human form, that 100,000-year spirit ring would be wasted. Damn you, Tang Hao. You're really getting lucky. Bibi Dong grit her teeth, her heart filled with resentment. But then, a hint of indifference flashed in her eyes. In the light screen, the silver-haired youth's calm and composed posture was not at all the reaction one should have when facing a deadly enemy. Interesting. The corners of Bibi Dong's mouth curled up slightly. I shall see how you handle Tang Hao's wrath. Clear sky sect. Brother Hao finally arrived. Tang Xiao stared intently at the light screen in the sky, a look of excitement flashing in his eyes. Just now, seeing Ah Yin's spirit bone being fused had made him so angry he almost spat blood. Now that he saw Tang Hao arrive in time to block the silver-haired youth's path, his heart that had been hanging in suspense finally settled. With Brother Hao personally taking action, that kid is doomed. Even if he has 2 10,000-year spirit rings and fused with Ah Yin's spirit bone, he is nothing more than a slightly larger ant in front of Brother Hao. Once Brother Hao kills that kid, reclaims Ah Yin's spirit bone, and then takes his thunderclap hellvine spirit bone. Thinking of this, a cold smile appeared on Tang Xiao's face. The atmosphere inside the entire Clear Sky Sect main hall became lively. Everyone believed that with Tang Hao taking action, there was absolutely no possibility of failure. That was the Clear Sky Duluo who once heavily injured Supreme Pontiff Qian of the Spirit Hall. Although Tang Hao had been expelled from the Clear Sky Sect, the blood of the Tang clan still flowed through his veins. Furthermore, it was better for the 100,000-year thunderclap hellvine spirit bone to fall into Tang Hao's hands than into the hands of Spirit Hall or other forces. Shrek Academy. Dad. The Clear Sky Duluo really is my dad. Tang San clenched his fists excitedly, tears shimmering in his eyes. He had finally waited for this. His father had finally arrived to stop the enemy who devoured his mother and took her spirit bone. Fantastic. The clear sky Duluo has appeared. Yu Shaogang also let out a long breath, his tense nerves finally relaxing. Flender pushed his glasses up. With the clear sky Duluo taking action, that kid won't be able to escape even if he had wings. Zhao Wuji grinned. Now there's going to be a good show. I've personally witnessed the power of the clear sky Duluo's clear sky hammer, that power, tisk tisk. Xiao Wu looked at Tang San's excited profile, but a strange sense of unease welled up in her heart. She remembered how her mother had also been hunted down by human powerhouses back then. No, Ji's father is different. He is doing it to protect his family, for revenge. Xiao Wu's heart was conflicted. She tried to find a suitable reason for Tang San's father to kill the transformed spirit beast. Just what kind of strength does he have? Is he truly a special existence among transformed spirit beasts? Xiao Wu stared intently at the light screen. Facing the aggressively approaching Tang Hao, the silver-haired youth showed no fear whatsoever. She didn't know where that spirit beast got its confidence from. In the sky, during the confrontation, Tang Hao was overcome by rage, and his old wounds were flaring up. Having flown at his maximum speed for several hours, his spirit power was significantly consumed, and his body was in a state of exhaustion. However, he didn't care about any of that. His blood-red eyes stared fixedly at Qin Feng. He would never allow this audacious transformed beast, who had devoured N.A.N, to escape from before his eyes. However, he was also not in a hurry to kill the silver-haired youth. He was worried that the youth might take desperate measures and destroy N.A.N's spirit bone. N.A.N had already been devoured, that right leg bone was his only memento, and he would never allow it to be destroyed. Bastard, who exactly are you? Give N.A.N's spirit bone back to me. Before his voice even faded, a terrifying pressure suddenly erupted from around Tang Hao. Under this pressure, an ordinary spirit master would at best have their spirit power stagnate, and at worst, be forced to their knees, or even start bleeding from their 7 orifices. However, Qin Feng floated in the air, his silver hair swaying gently in the wind, his expression as normal as ever. The pressure that was enough to make even a spirit Duluo feel suffocated fell upon him like a spring breeze, having no effect at all. What? How is this possible? Tang Hao's pupils shrank abruptly. Not just Tang Hao, but all the powerhouses watching from outside the light screen were shocked. 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. The always gentle and elegant Ning Fengji now had a face full of shock. He's just a mere 2-ring spirit grandmaster, how can he ignore the pressure of a titled Duluo? Could it be, he has a treasure on him that immunizes him to pressure, or possesses some kind of special ability? Chen Xin also frowned and speculated. As a transformed 100,000-year spirit beast in an extremely special existence, his mental force far exceeds that of ordinary people, perhaps even reaching the titled Duluo level. Maybe he has mastered some kind of secret technique to immunize himself against pressure. It's truly unbelievable. Ning Fengji shook his head and sighed softly. Even if he is a special existence and his mental force is strong, it's impossible to completely immunize himself against a titled Duluo's pressure. A secret technique to immunize against pressure. Does such a thing really exist? Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan. Yu Yuanjun looked at the light screen, his brow furrowed. Tang Hao, who has been missing for years, has actually appeared again. That spirit beast is truly not simple. With only 2 spirit rings, he can withstand the pressure applied by Tang Hao. He is simply a monster among monsters. Several elders looked at each other, all finding it inconceivable. Let's keep watching, the outcome will be clear soon. In the light screen, Qin Feng felt the powerful defensive strength of invincible defense, his heart as calm as still water. Exposing Tang Hao's hypocrisy and atrocities, devouring the Blue-Silver Emperor, and merging the spirit bone had caused violent emotional fluctuations in countless viewers, earning him another 30,000 emotion points. Chapter 29, Toying with Tang Hao, Devouring the Thunder. A great enemy stood before him. Qin Feng silently spent 10,000 emotion points to exchange for a temporary skill, Invincible Defense. During the novice protection period, this temporary skill not only granted immunity to physical and energy attacks below the god level, but even complete immunity to mental suppression. It would remain effective for 24 hours. He spent another 10,000 emotion points to exchange for another temporary skill, 1 instant 1,000 meters. This skill ignored obstacles and allowed him to teleport a kilometer away instantly. Each use consumed 1% of his spirit power, with no limit on the number of uses, and it was also valid for 24 hours. He had 10,000 emotion points left, which he kept in reserve to exchange for other temporary skills at critical moments. Tang Hao, you took so long to get here. You must have headed to the Stardow Great Forest to find me the moment I appeared, didn't you? Qin Feng suddenly spoke. His voice was calm, yet it carried clearly to all directions. Tang Hao's expression changed, but he did not deny it. It's not just you. The top powers on the Duluo continent must have all gone looking for me. As he spoke, Qin Feng slowly raised his gaze, as if trying to pierce through the light screen to meet the eyes of the powerful experts who were watching him. Let me introduce myself. My name is Qin Feng. If you want to take my spirit rings or spirit bones, I'm ready for you anytime. As soon as these words were spoken, the whole world was in an uproar. A two-ring spirit grandmaster dared to publicly provoke the top powers of the entire continent. This was no longer just arrogance, it was madness. Arrogant fool. Tang Hao laughed out of extreme anger. Kid, do you think having some means to immune yourself from pressure allows you to be so insolent before me? Today, I will surely kill you. Qin Feng also smiled and mocked him. Tang Hao, you intended to take my spirit bone, but you didn't expect that I would be the one to take the Blue-Silver Emperor's spirit bone instead. This Blue-Silver Emperor's right leg bone is truly excellent. Not only does it grant me powerful self-healing abilities, but it also gives me this flight ability. As Qin Feng spoke, he lightly moved his right leg, which shimmered with a blue-gold light. You damn bastard. Tang Hao's eyes were as red as blood, and he trembled all over with rage. Every word Qin Feng said was like a knife, stabbing deep into his heart. I'm going to kill you. Boom. A terrifying aura erupted from Tang Hao's body. A giant hammer, pitch black and covered in blood-colored patterns, appeared out of thin air in his hand. The moment that giant hammer appeared, the surrounding air began to twist and vibrate. Yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, 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 red. 9 spirit rings rose from beneath Tang Hao's feet, encircling his body. The moment that final, blood-red 100,000-year spirit ring appeared. Across the entire Duluo continent, countless observers gasped in unison. 100,000-year spirit ring. It really is a 100,000-year spirit ring. The clear sky Duluo actually possesses a 100,000-year spirit ring. Heavens, is this the strength that severely wounded the former Supreme Pontiff? That spirit beast is as good as dead. In the Spirit Master's world, a red 100,000-year spirit ring symbolized absolute power. In the entire continent, the number of titled Duluo who possessed a 100,000-year spirit ring could be counted on one hand. Many spirit masters might never see one in their entire lives. But at this moment, they were witnessing the appearance of a 100,000-year spirit ring with their own eyes. Even through the light screen, they could feel the incomparable and majestic energy within it. Tang Hao held the clear sky hammer, and his 9 spirit rings shone brilliantly. He looked like a god of war descending to the world, his aura overwhelming. Dad, is that really my dad? Looking at the man on the light screen who resembled a god of war, Tang San was stunned. In his eyes, his father had always been a slovenly drunkard. Seeing his father display such divine might now, he could hardly believe it. A sense of pride welled up within him. Tilde 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 tilde. Within the light screen, Tang Hao spoke again. Kid, to be able to die under my clear sky hammer is your honor. If you know what's good for you, sever your own right leg and hand over Yin's spirit bone. I'll leave your corpse intact. Facing Tang Hao's threat, Qin Feng was not at all afraid. Instead, he gave a cold snort. Tang Hao, look at yourself. A dog with a broken spine dares to dream of killing me. One day, I will skin you alive. I'll pull out your tendons. I'll take the 6 spirit bones from your body. I'll use your blood to sacrifice to the countless souls of spirit beasts who died under the clear sky hammer. As soon as these words were spoken, the whole world was shocked. This spirit beast, who had been transformed into human form for less than half a month, actually dared to say such arrogant words. Tang Hao could no longer restrain himself. You asked for this. Today, I'll skin you first. I'll pull out your tendons. I'll tear you into 10,000 pieces. Before his voice had even faded, Tang Hao moved. He didn't use any spirit ability, he simply raised the clear sky hammer and swung it down toward Qin Feng's head. This strike contained the pure power of a titled Duluo. Before the hammer even arrived, the terrifying wind pressure had already forcibly severed the waterfall below. The entire valley was trembling. Facing this mountain-crushing and sea-toppling strike, Qin Feng's eyes remained calm. With a thought, he instantly released the thunderclap Hellvine. 2 black 10,000-year spirit rings rose from beneath his feet. Although the number of spirit rings was far fewer than Tang Hao's, that deep black color was still heart-shaking. A 2-ring spirit grandmaster, facing the furious blow of a titled Duluo, not only didn't run away but actually released his spirit to prepare for battle. Has he gone mad? The same thought surged in the minds of countless people. However, Qin Feng's next move left everyone dumbfounded. He didn't dodge, instead, he controlled the thunderclap Hellvine to actively meet the falling clear sky hammer. The thunderclap Hellvine rapidly extended hundreds of meters in the air, seemingly intending to take the clear sky hammer head-on. Overestimating yourself. A ferocious look flashed in Tang Hao's eyes, and he added another 30% to his strength. Boom. The moment the clear sky hammer collided with the thunderclap Hellvine, the world changed color. Tang Hao's clear sky hammer itself carried powerful lightning power. Violent thunder erupted from the clear sky hammer. Blue-purple lightning spread out like a spiderweb, instantly engulfing the surrounding thunderclap Hellvine. However, the expected scene of the vine shattering did not occur. The moment that violent lightning came into contact with the thunderclap Hellvine, it was actually rapidly absorbed and devoured by the vine. Not only was the thunderclap hell vine undamaged, but it also began to grow and expand wildly under the nourishment of the lightning. The purple gold thunder patterns on the vine became increasingly dazzling, and the aura it emitted grew stronger and stronger. What? Tang Hao's pupils constricted. He felt that the lightning power on his clear sky hammer was being crazily absorbed by that strange vine. The thunderclap hell vine feeds on lightning. Tang Hao, you've come at just the right time. The corners of Qin Feng's mouth curled up slightly. He could have left these mountains earlier, but he had deliberately waited for Tang Hao to arrive. He wanted to use the lightning power provided by Tang Hao to condense an even more powerful third spirit ring. The lightning power absorbed through the thunderclap hell vine was channeled into Qin Feng's body, and after being converted by the five thunder method, it turned into pure lightning attribute spirit power. You deliberately waited for me here just to use me for your cultivation. Tang Hao realized what was happening and was beyond furious, feeling that he had been greatly insulted. He, the dignified clear sky Duluo, had actually become a stepping stone for a spirit grandmaster's cultivation. I'll make sure there's nothing left of you. Tang Hao was completely enraged. That crimson 100,000-year spirit ring suddenly lit up. A massive phantom of the clear sky hammer condensed in the air. The hammer was entwined with blood-colored lightning, emitting an aura that could destroy the world. If this strike fell, the entire valley would be turned into ruins. Chapter 30, 100,000-year spirit ability, nothing more than this. When that blood crimson 100,000-year spirit ring fully lit up, the entire sky seemed to freeze for a moment. Supreme Pontiff Palace. Bibi Dong's deep purple eyes stared fixedly at the light screen, a flash of unbelievable horror crossing the depths of her pupils. Is this the power granted by the sacrifice of a 100,000-year spirit beast? As a level 99 super Duluo, Bibi Dong considered herself to be at the peak of human spirit masters. She had always regarded Tang Hao as an imaginary enemy, deep down longing for a battle with this clear sky Duluo who had once severely wounded Qian Zunji to verify her current strength. But at this moment, sensing Tang Hao's overwhelming aura through the light screen, she actually found that she lacked the confidence of a certain victory. Bibi Dong had 200,000-year spirit rings, both obtained through hunting spirit beasts. Those 200,000-year spirit rings, while also containing incredibly vast energy, were still quite inferior compared to Tang Hao's 100,000-year spirit ring, which came from the sacrifice of the Blue-Silver Emperor. The overbearing nature of the clear sky hammer, combined with the power of a 100,000-year spirit beast's sacrifice, no wonder he could single-handedly confront three-titled Duluo. Bibi Dong murmured to herself, her fingertips tightening unconsciously. She couldn't help but feel a trace of wariness toward Tang Hao, which made her feel humiliated. If Tang Hao killed Qin Feng and took Qin Feng's spirit bone, her plan to hunt Qin Feng would fall through. Therefore, she hoped Qin Feng could escape Tang Hao's clutches. Meanwhile, inside the Clear Sky sect, all the elders and disciples gathered at the training ground, looking up at the light screen in the sky. When they saw Tang Hao's 9 spirit rings blooming in blood red, the entire training ground fell into a deathly silence. Brother Hao. Complex and indescribable emotions surged in Tang Xiao's eyes. He was both proud of his younger brother's strength and regretful that the Clear Sky sect had expelled Tang Hao back then. Although Tang Hao was expelled from the sect, the blood of the Tang clan always flowed within him. That blood-colored giant hammer representing the Clear Sky sect was domineering and peerless. At this moment, Tang Hao once again displayed his strength before the world. With such a top-tier powerhouse present, even though the Clear Sky sect had gone into seclusion, no one would dare look down on them. Brother Hao, you must kill that kid and take back Yin's spirit bone. Tilde. Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan. Clan head Yu Yuanjun stood with his hands behind his back, looking at the blood-wrapped clear sky hammer in the light screen with a solemn expression. As the possessor of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Spirit and a level 95 attack system titled Duluo, Yu Yuanjun had always regarded Tang Hao as one of his strongest opponents. The Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan had developed rapidly in recent years, showing a strong momentum to replace the Clear Sky sect and become the new #1 sect in the world. But now, seeing the terrifying strength Tang Hao displayed, the ambition in Yu Yuanjun's heart instantly cooled by half. Tilde. 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Ning Fengji and Sword Duluo Chen Xin's expressions were equally serious. Uncle Sword, if you were to face the current Tang Hao, what are your chances of winning? Ning Fengji asked softly. Chen Xin remained silent for a moment before slowly speaking. If it were a fair duel, I believe I wouldn't lose to him. But if he fights with his life on the line, the outcome would be unpredictable. The power Tang Hao has displayed shows us the terror of the Clear Sky Hammer. The 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School has developed rapidly over the years, and I always thought we had caught up with the Clear Sky sect. Now it seems there is still a significant gap. Chen Xin nodded. Although the Clear Sky sect was severely damaged by Spirit Hall and has been in seclusion for many years, its foundation is deep. Besides Tang Hao, there is still Tang Xiao and those elders remaining in the sect. In terms of overall strength, it is likely still second only to Spirit Hall. Ning Fengji sighed softly, looking at the light screen with deep eyes. That Qin Feng is not simple. To be able to contend with Tang Hao to this extent, even if there's an element of trickery, it's enough to be proud of. Uncle Sword, do you think he can survive? I'm afraid it will be difficult. Tang Hao is truly enraged, the next strike will surely be intended to take his life. Just as Chen Xin expected, Tang Hao in the light screen was finally about to use a true killing move. The blood-wrapped phantom of the clear sky hammer expanded in the air, growing to a massive 100 meters. Upon the hammer's body, blood-colored lightning snaked like flood dragons, each flash causing the surrounding space to tremble violently. The flow of the waterfall was forcibly cut off by the terrifying air pressure. The rock walls on both sides of the valley began to crack and collapse. Die. Tang Hao's voice was like thunder from the 9 heavens, booming through the heavens and earth. He didn't use any fancy moves, it was just the simplest, most direct, and most violent strike. It smashed down with a roar. In that moment, time seemed to freeze. Everyone held their breath, watching helplessly as the 100-meter giant hammer, with its world-destroying power, smashed down toward Qin Feng's position. Boom. A deafening roar spread in all directions. Centering on the impact point, a terrifying energy shockwave expanded in a circular shape. The massive waterfall was torn apart, and the water surged backward into the sky. The entire valley trembled, cracked, and collapsed under the hammer. The rock walls shattered like paper, and the boulders were shaken into powder. Smoke and dust rose into the sky, obscuring half of it. The terrifying energy impact caused the image in the light screen to shake violently and become blurred. A moment later, the dust finally began to settle slowly. When the scene in the light screen became clear again, everyone couldn't help but gasp. This single strike had directly altered the terrain. The originally beautiful valley had now turned into a giant crater over 300 meters in diameter. The waterfall's flow was cut, the mountains had collapsed, and the vegetation was completely destroyed. So, such a terrifying attack. Is that really an attack belonging to a human spirit master? That arrogant Qin Feng, is he dead? Countless people cried out in alarm, their eyes fixed on the light screen, searching for Qin Feng's figure. Tang Hao held the clear sky hammer, panting heavily. This strike consumed a vast amount of energy, and coupled with his severe internal injuries, he felt his internal organs churning. A sweet taste rose in his throat, but he forced it back down. At this moment, Tang Hao's eyes were staring fixedly ahead. Only he knew that Qin Feng wasn't dead. At the moment the clear sky hammer smashed down, Tang Hao clearly felt the blood-colored lightning on the hammer being crazily devoured by a strange power. Moreover, the aura of the spirit bone belonging to N.A.N. was still within this area. Bastard, come out! Tang Hao roared, mustering his strength as he raised the clear sky hammer again. Just then, a calm voice came from behind him. Tang Hao, is this all you're capable of? Tang Hao spun around abruptly. He saw that Qin Feng had appeared in midair 100 meters behind him at some unknown time. The youth's face was calm, his long silver hair dancing in the wind, his clothes fluttering, and not even a speck of dust had touched him. What? He's actually still alive. How did he dodge it? The whole world was in an uproar. No one could have imagined that under such a world-destroying strike, Qin Feng not only survived but also appeared completely unscathed. This simply overturned everyone's understanding. Chapter 31, Tang Hao's most humiliating battle. How could a two-ring spirit grandmaster possibly escape from the full-force strike of a titled Duluo? In front of the light screen, the eyes of countless powerful experts were filled with shock and suspicion. In front of the Supreme Pontiff Palace, Bibi Dong's pupils suddenly constricted. He actually dodged that strike. That kind of speed has already exceeded the scope of flying spirit abilities. Could it be teleportation granted by a spirit bone skill? Thinking of this possibility, Bibi Dong's gaze became burning and intense. A spirit bone skill that could allow someone to easily escape the lock-on of a titled Duluo was of immeasurable value. It wasn't just Bibi Dong. Every expert across the entire continent who witnessed this scene felt the same surge of greed in their hearts. By killing Qin Feng, one could simultaneously obtain the Blue-Silver Emperor right leg bone and a 100,000-year Thunderclap Hellvine spirit bone. The boost provided by 200,000-year spirit bones was incalculable. At this moment, except for the experts of the Clear Sky sect, everyone held the same thought as Bibi Dong. They hoped Qin Feng could escape from Tang Hao's hands. Tang Hao was already strong enough, they couldn't let him obtain 2 more 100,000-year spirit bones. Tilde. Above the valley, Tang Hao looked at the unharmed Qin Feng, first in a daze, and then in a violent rage. He understood. The moment the clear sky hammer smashed down, Qin Feng had used a teleportation skill to circle behind him. What angered him even more was that during the teleportation, Qin Feng had actually used those strange vines to frantically devour the power of thunder on the clear sky hammer. You dare to toy with me like this? Tang Hao's eyes were blood red, and his voice was as raspy as an evil ghost. He, the dignified Clear Sky Duluo, a world-renowned expert, was being played like a monkey today by a spirit beast transformed into a human in front of the entire world. This was simply a humiliating disgrace. I will tear you into 10,000 pieces. Tang Hao went completely mad. He no longer cared about his internal injuries, his consumption, or anything else. There was only one thought in his mind: kill. Kill this bastard who took N.A.N. and humiliated him. Boom. 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 The clear sky hammer swung, and streaks of dark red hammer shadows blasted toward Qin Feng like cannonballs. Every hammer shadow contained the terrifying power of the titled Duluo level. Everywhere they passed, the air exploded and space distorted. Facing this overwhelming attack, Qin Feng didn't panic at all. With a thought, he activated 1,000 meters once again. His figure instantly vanished from the spot and appeared in the air 1,000 meters away. Although those hammer shadows possessed terrifying power, they all missed, blasting deep craters into the ground below one after another. Dang Hao, you have serious internal injuries. Attacking so frantically will only lead you to your death faster. Qin Feng's voice came from another direction, carrying undisguised mockery. Dang Hao snapped his head around, and another round of hammer shadows blasted out. But Qin Feng teleported away again. In this manner, Qin Feng used invincible defense and teleportation skills to weave through Dang Hao's attacks, while simultaneously controlling the thunderclap Hellvine to seize the opportunity to devour the thunder power emitted by the clear sky hammer. The devoured thunder was converted through the 5 thunder method into pure lightning attribute spirit power, which continuously accumulated and compressed within Qin Feng's body. He could feel that his spirit power had become significantly more robust. Bastard, if you have the guts, stop hiding. Dang Hao roared repeatedly, his attacks becoming increasingly frenzied. But the more frenzied his attacks, the greater his consumption, and the more severe the backlash from his internal injuries. After another swing missed, Dang Hao's body jerked violently, and he sprayed out a mouthful of fresh blood. The bright red blood splattered in the air, a shocking sight. Father. Seeing this scene, Tang San's eyes nearly split from rage. He had originally thought his father could easily kill Qin Feng, avenge his mother, and reclaim the spirit bone. He never expected his father to be so pathetic, toyed with by the opponent and even aggravating his injuries. Qin Feng, I will definitely kill you. Tang San was burning with rage, his fists clenched tightly. He also knew that his current self was completely vulnerable before Qin Feng. That sense of powerlessness almost threatened to consume him. Within the light screen, Qin Feng saw Dang Hao spitting blood and knew the time had come. Invincible defense and 1,000 meters were powerful, but they both had time limits and consumed spirit power. With his current strength, he still couldn't kill Dang Hao. Continuing the fight would be disadvantageous for him. A sharp light flashed in Qin Feng's eyes, and his first spirit ring suddenly lit up. A deep black light radiated brilliantly, and the purple-gold thunder patterns on the thunderclap Hellvine flashed frantically. First spirit ability, Heavenly Thunder Induction. Rumble. In the sky, dark clouds gathered instantly. Dozens of purple-gold lightning bolts descended from the heavens, rapidly converging as they blasted toward Dang Hao, finally transforming into a thick pillar of thunder. Within the thunder pillar, destructive energy surged wildly, emitting a crackling and popping sound. The power of this strike had already far surpassed the full force blow of an ordinary 10,000-year spirit ability. A mere trick. What can it do to me? Although Dang Hao was injured, the pride of a titled Duluo made it impossible for him to retreat before the attack of a 2-ring spirit grandmaster. He snorted coldly and swung the clear sky hammer upward. Blood-colored lightning coiled around the hammer as it met the thunder pillar head-on. Boom. The moment the two collided, a dazzling explosion of purple gold and blood-red light erupted. Amidst the deafening roar, the energy shockwave spread out again, and the air distorted frantically. Relying on the clear sky protection, Dang Hao blocked this strike. However, he was still shocked. A 10,000-year spirit ability actually possessed such power. As the light dissipated, Dang Hao focused his gaze. Qin Feng's figure had already disappeared. Only that cold voice still echoed slowly in the air. Dang Hao, today is only the beginning. The next time we meet, you will know the meaning of true despair. Qin Feng's voice drifted further away, eventually dissipating in the wind. Damn it. Dang Hao was stunned for a moment, then reacted and roared as he chased after him. But even after rushing several thousand meters, he could no longer sense Qin Feng's aura. The connection belonging to N.A.N's spirit bone had also completely vanished. Ah. Dang Hao let out an unwilling roar toward the sky. Anger, pain, and despair filled his heart. He had actually let the enemy who took N.A.N leave so easily. PFFT. Under the assault of extreme fury, Dang Hao spat out another mouthful of blood. Countless observers in front of the light screen were greatly shocked to see this once world-shaking clear sky Duluo in such a pathetic state. Shrek Academy. Tang San stared blankly at the figure of his father spitting blood on the screen, tears falling silently. He never imagined that Qin Feng would be powerful to such an extent. Teacher, my father, he. Yu Xiaogang patted Tang San's shoulder and sighed. Your father seems to have serious internal injuries, he shouldn't have forced himself to act like this. But Qin Feng, he. That Qin Feng is not simple. Yu Xiaogang's expression was grave. For him to be able to contend with the clear sky Duluo to this extent with a 2-ring cultivation, he relies not only on that strange spirit and the blue-silver emperor spirit bone, but also on combat intelligence and a calm mindset far beyond ordinary people. If he does not die, he will surely become a great threat in the future. Chapter 32, Bibi Dong, I'll act personally. Listening to Yu Xiaogang's words, Tang San's heart felt like it was being twisted by a knife. He had also heard Qin Feng say that Tang Hao had severe internal injuries. Moreover, he had witnessed his father vomiting blood and looking heartbroken with his own eyes, confirming that what Qin Feng said was true. However, there were too many doubts in his mind. How did Qin Feng find the blue-silver grass his mother transformed into after her death, and the right leg bone his father had hidden in the stone wall? He also didn't understand how Qin Feng, with only two 10,000-year spirit rings, could withstand his father's pressure and attacks at the titled Duluo level. These were all beyond his understanding and troubled him. Perhaps only his father, Tang Hao's return, could give him the answers. As Qin Feng's figure disappeared, the golden light screen in the sky also slowly dissipated. Tang Hao's figure also vanished. Looking at the sky that had returned to calm, a look of determination flashed in Tang San's eyes. Teacher, I must become stronger as soon as possible. I want to kill Qin Feng with my own hands, to avenge my mother and avenge my father's humiliation. Seeing the hatred that was almost bursting out of Tang San's eyes, Yu Xiaogong's heart was filled with mixed emotions. Tang San's mother had been devoured, and the 100,000-year spirit bone she left behind had been fused by Qin Feng. Tang Hao had been humiliated by a newly transformed spirit beast in front of everyone. Yu Xiaogong knew that Tang San was a competitive person, and the seeds of hatred had already been planted in his heart. This hatred would become the greatest motivation for Tang San's cultivation, but it might also lead him astray. After all, he was only 12 years old and shouldn't have to bear all this. Yu Xiaogong said in a deep voice. Little San, revenge must be planned carefully. On the path to becoming stronger, avoid being impulsive. What you need to do now is build a good foundation and improve steadily. I believe that with your talent and hard work, you will surely become a top powerhouse like your father in the future. Yeah, little San, don't be in a hurry. Flender patted Tang San's shoulder as a sign of comfort. Tang San remembered something and asked. Teacher, Dean, my father should know I'm at Shrek Academy, right? Of course he knows. Flender continued. When you first arrived at the academy, your father came by. To let you focus on your cultivation, he didn't show himself, only I and teacher Zhao saw him. At the mention of Tang Hao, Zhao Wuji smiled awkwardly. When Tang San and the others first entered the academy, they were given a hard time by Zhao Wuji, and Tang Hao taught Zhao Wuji a lesson. Tang Hao's power was still vivid in Zhao Wuji's mind. The stone hanging in Tang San's heart dropped slightly. My father has injuries, I don't know how he is doing. Yu Xiaogong said. Little San, don't worry. You probably don't know your mother's identity yet. Since such a big thing happened, your father might come to find you. Once he explains everything to you, you will naturally understand. Tang San nodded. Then I will wait for him at the academy with peace of mind. The speaker was unintentional, but the listener was mindful. Hearing that Tang Hao had already come to Shrek Academy in secret, Xiao Wu's heart rate suddenly quickened. She knew very well that her identity as a spirit beast had been exposed. If Tang Hao really came to find Tang San, she didn't know what would happen when she met him. The worst-case scenario was that she would die at Tang Hao's hands and her spirit bone would be taken out. Although she and Tang San were close, she couldn't rule out the possibility of Tang Hao wanting to kill her. Who could resist the temptation of a 100,000-year spirit bone? Tang Hao was an executioner who treated the lives of spirit beasts like grass, and his hands were already covered in their blood. Staying at Shrek Academy was too dangerous. Xiao Wu told herself in her heart that she must make a decision as soon as possible. Supreme Pontiff Palace. The light screen in the sky had dissipated, but Bibi Dong's heart could not calm down for a long time. Just as she wished. Tang Hao failed to kill Qin Feng, giving her the chance to seize Qin Feng's spirit bone. However, remembering the way Qin Feng calmly dealt with the powerful Tang Hao, a trace of ferocity appeared on her face. That youth transformed from a 100,000-year thunderclap hellvine seemed much harder to deal with than she had imagined. Tang Hao, you once fought 3 titled Duluos alone and even severely injured Qian Zunji. I thought you were so strong, but I didn't expect you to fall to this point, unable to even handle a 100,000-year spirit beast, losing all face. It seems your injuries are not light. Such a clear sky Duluo is not worthy of being my, Bibi Dong's, opponent. Fine, that powerful spirit beast is destined to be mine. Once I take his spirit ring and spirit bone, you, Tang Hao, will be even less of a match for me. Gui Mei and Yu Guan might already be in the Sunset Forest, I wonder if they'll have a chance to run into him. With the strength of the 2 elders, capturing him alive shouldn't be a problem. Thinking of this, the corners of Bibi Dong's mouth curled up. Gui Mei and Yu Guan possessed a powerful spirit fusion skill, unipolar static domain. Bibi Dong believed that even if Qin Feng had offensive and defensive power far beyond imagination, he would still be restricted by the 2 elders' spirit fusion skill. If that still doesn't work, I will have to act personally. 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Sword Duluo Chen Xin and Ning Fengji both had solemn expressions. Ning Fengji suddenly asked. Uncle Jian, do you think the teleportation skill Qin Feng used is an ability of the Blue-Silver Emperor right leg bone? Most likely. As a 100,000-year spirit beast, the Blue-Silver Emperor's spirit bone skill must be extraordinary. To be able to escape via teleportation under the lock-on of a titled Duluo, the value of this skill is immeasurable. Qin Feng has 200,000-year spirit bones on him. After today, I'm afraid the powerhouses of the entire continent will be eyeing those 2 spirit bones. Yes, Tang Hao seems to have severe internal injuries and lost his sanity due to extreme anger, which is why Qin Feng escaped. If Old Bone encountered him, he might be more certain of killing him. Ning Fengji nodded slightly, a smile appearing on his face. Tang Hao's failure to kill Qin Feng gave them a chance to seize the spirit bones from Qin Feng. Bone Duluo Ji Yu Rong is known as the titled Duluo with the most bizarre attacks. Not only is he extremely fast, but he also has the ability to manipulate space. Ning Fengji believed that if Ji Yu Rong met Qin Feng, he would certainly not be humiliated like Tang Hao. He believed it would be difficult for Qin Feng to escape Ji Yu Rong's grasp. Compared to Qin Feng's own spirit bone, Ning Fengji wanted the blue silver emperor right leg bone more. He only had the strongest support but no combat power, requiring the protection of the 2 powerhouses, Chen Qin and Ji Yu Rong. If he fused with the blue silver emperor right leg bone and gained the ability to fly and speed like Qin Feng's, he could better protect himself. Clear Sky Sect. Tang Xiao stood outside the meeting hall, looking at the golden light screen that had just dissipated in the distance, his clenched fists bulging with veins. His chest heaved violently, and a raging fire burned in his eyes. Brother Hao actually. Tang Xiao couldn't believe what he had just seen. The Clear Sky Duluo, who once shook the world, was actually publicly humiliated by a newly transformed 100,000-year spirit beast. What made his heart ache even more was that the gentlewoman N.A.N, whom he had also secretly loved, was completely devoured by Qin Feng, and even the spirit bone she left behind was snatched and fused. Chapter 33, Tang Xiao emerges, Qin Feng's third ring. Tang Xiao also knew that Tang Hao had used the ring explosion technique during his great battle with Qian Zunji, which had damaged his body. Even now, he had not fully recovered. Were it not for this, with Tang Hao's strength, no matter how strange Qin Feng was, it would have been impossible for him to escape Tang Hao's grasp. Inside the Clear Sky Sect's council chamber, a deathly silence fell. The face of every elder was filled with fury and indignation. The Clear Sky Sect had lived in seclusion for many years, and although they did not meddle in worldly affairs, the pride in their bones had never diminished. Today's events were not only a humiliation to Tang Hao personally and the Clear Sky Hammer, but a trampling of the entire Clear Sky Sect. N.A.N. Tang Xiao silently repeated the name in his heart, as the image of the woman with flowing blue hair and a gentle smile surfaced before his eyes. Back then, he and Tang Hao had both fallen in love with N.A.N at the same time, but he had no choice but to bury those feelings deep within his heart. When he learned that N.A.N had sacrificed herself for Tang Hao, he had spent 3 days and nights drinking alone on the back mountain. Now, even the blue-silver grass she transformed into after death had been devoured, and her remains stolen. This pain was no less than Tang Hao's. Tang Xiao knew that Spirit Hall would never let this opportunity pass. They would surely hunt down Qin Feng to seize his 100,000-year spirit ring and the 200,000-year spirit bones on his person. No matter what, N.A.N's spirit bone must not fall into the hands of Spirit Hall. It was time to emerge from the mountains. Elders, I must descend the mountain. Tang Xiao's words startled several elders simultaneously. The third elder hurriedly asked. If you leave, what will happen to the sect? I must go. Tang Xiao's attitude was resolute. You saw it as well, Tang Hao is injured and emotionally unstable, he cannot kill Qin Feng. Although the seventh elder is also searching for him, whether he can be found remains unknown. One more person means one more chance. I cannot stand by and watch those 200,000-year spirit bones fall into the hands of Spirit Hall or other forces. The elders looked at each other and fell into deep thought. The Clear Sky Sect had once been besieged by Spirit Hall, losing over half their numbers and suffering a major blow to their vitality. They had always regarded Spirit Hall as their greatest enemy, and their determination for revenge had never wavered. Tang Xiao was right. Those 200,000-year spirit bones could not be snatched by Spirit Hall or other powers. The second elder will temporarily manage sect affairs. This journey is secret, I shall descend the mountain alone. That spirit beast is too bizarre, you should be careful as well. Tang Xiao nodded and said no more. After a simple packing, he quietly left the Clear Sky Sect. Inside a hidden mountain cave. Qin Feng sat cross-legged, adjusting his body to its optimal state. In today's battle with Tang Hao, if not for invincible defense, granting immunity to mental suppression and energy shockwaves, and 1 instant 1,000 meters providing mobility, he would have been crushed by a single strike of Tang Hao's hammer. The harvest from this battle was immense. By devouring Tang Hao's clear sky lightning through the thunderclap hell vine and converting it with the 5 thunder method, he had accumulated a massive amount of lightning attribute spirit power within his body. It was time to condense his third spirit ring. Qin Feng closed his eyes and began to circulate his spirit power. Within him, the majestic lightning attribute spirit power surged and gathered in his meridians, constantly compressing and solidifying. 3 hours passed quietly. Qin Feng slowly opened his eyes, a flash of purple gold lightning flickering within them. Purple gold lightning erupted from his body, emitting a low hum. A deep black spirit ring encircled him. The third spirit ring had taken form. Its age had reached 50,000 years. His spirit power had directly reached rank 35. Qin Feng felt the surging power within him, a smile playing at the corners of his mouth. Third spirit ability, Thunder's Wrath. When activated, speed, attack, strength, and defense are all increased twofold. In this state, the power of his first two 10,000-year spirit abilities is also significantly enhanced. His physique, already formidable due to the 5 Thunder Correct Law and the Thunderclap Hellvine, had advanced to another level. The lightning power of the Clear Sky Hammer is indeed extraordinary. Qin Feng felt satisfied and withdrew his spirit power. The lightning surging around him gradually subsided, and the feeling of abundant power settled back into his body. The battle with Tang Hao had sent shockwaves across the Duluo continent. Because of this, he had gained another 50,000 emotion points. Qin Feng planned to visit the Stardo Great Forest. He knew that the 100,000-year spirit ring and spirit bones on his body attracted the attention of countless experts. Spirit Hall, the Clear Sky Sect, and the other 7 great sects, even the smaller sect forces, had likely already taken action. Only 17 days remained in his newbie protection period. He had to become as strong as possible during this time. Qin Feng's cultivation path was somewhat special. The progress of the 5 Thunder Correct Law required accumulation through painstaking cultivation and could not be rushed. However, there was a faster path to increasing spirit power levels, devouring heaven and earth lightning, or fusing with high-age spirit bones. True combat power was never forged in a quiet room, it needed to be tempered and sublimated in the slaughter of blood and fire. The Stardo Great Forest was vast and its terrain complex, a perfect hunting ground. The roles of hunter and prey were never fixed. Want to seize my spirit bones? Let's see if you have the life to take them. Qin Feng would make those people pay the price. Shrek Academy, Backyard Woods. Tang-san sat alone on a fallen tree trunk, looking at the night sky, his eyes churning with indignation, anger, and a faint, imperceptible madness. The scenes he witnessed during the day, his mother being devoured, the 100,000-year right leg bone being fused by Qin Feng, his father Tang Hao's crushing defeat, his roars and coughing up blood, each scene was like a sharp carving knife, repeatedly slicing deep, bloody scars into his heart. Humiliation and hatred were like poisonous vines, wrapping around his heart and tightening their grip. Jay. A soft voice sounded. Xiao Wu quietly came to Tang San's side, her red eyes full of heartache. She gently took Tang San's cold hand, trying to convey some warmth. Jay, don't be too sad. Uncle, he will definitely get better. In the future, you will surely be able to take back Auntie's spirit bone. Tang San turned his head, looking at Xiao Wu's concerned face. This familiar face slightly calmed the violence in his heart, but it was immediately replaced by an even deeper obsession. The future, Xiao Wu, I can't wait that long. Tang San's voice was hoarse and urgent. You saw it too, that monster Qin Feng, he devoured my mother, he's so strong. Even father, if I cultivate step by step, how long will it take to get revenge? Teachers' theories are certainly important, and there's nothing wrong with building a good foundation, but I can't wait. Jay, you. Xiao Wu felt a trace of unease from Tang San's gaze. Tang San's breathing became heavy, and a near-paranoid light flickered in his eyes. There is a way to rapidly increase strength. Just like father back then, he also became the youngest titled Duluo through constant fighting and experience. It's spirit bones. Tang San became more excited as he spoke. Spirit bones don't just provide powerful spirit abilities, they can directly increase spirit power. If I can hunt enough high-age spirit beasts and obtain multiple spirit bones, my spirit power can skyrocket in a short time. Hunting. Spirit beasts. Obtaining spirit bones. Xiao Wu felt as if struck by lightning. She abruptly pulled back her hand and took a step back in disbelief, her face instantly turning pale. She looked at the familiar yet strange Tang San before her, her heart feeling as if it were being squeezed tightly by an icy hand. Tang San had said, hunting spirit beasts, so naturally. In his heart, were the lives of spirit beasts really so cheap? Were they just objects to be slaughtered at will just to obtain spirit bones and increase spirit power? What was the difference between him and that executioner, Tang Hao? Chapter 34, Xiao Wu leaves without saying goodbye, Tang Hao appears at Shrek. Xiao Wu felt a piercing chill rise from the depths of her heart. The fire of hatred burning in Tang San's eyes before her seemed ready to consume all his past calmness and gentleness. For the sake of revenge, he was willing to pay any price, even starting to identify with and walk the path his father once took. Like his father, he viewed the lives of spirit beasts as nothing more than blades of grass. Jay, spirit beasts are living beings too. The probability of a spirit bone appearing is less than 1 in 1,000. How many spirit beasts must be hunted to obtain one? Besides, you are only a 3-ring spirit elder now. How could you kill so many high-level spirit beasts? At this moment, Tang San was completely immersed in the fantasy of gaining power quickly and the urgency of revenge. He didn't notice Xiao Wu's abnormal shock and sadness, instead assuming she was merely worried about the risks. Xiao Wu, I know there are risks, but this is the only shortcut. To avenge my mother and for my father, I will do anything. I will create hidden